My dear child, I have loved you from the very beginning. You are my creation, and my heart longs for you. You may have wondered what happens after this life, what I have prepared for you, and what heaven is really like. Today I want to answer those questions for you and show you the incredible future I have planned for you. Heaven is not a faraway, unreachable dream. It is real, and it is waiting for you. Heaven is a place of beauty, joy, and peace beyond what you can imagine. I know this world has its share of pain and hardship, but in heaven all of that will be gone. In Revelation 21 verse 4, I tell you that in heaven He will wipe every tear from their eyes, and there will be no more death or sorrow or crying or pain. All these things are gone forever. There will be no more suffering, no more loss, and no more heartbreak. The world as you know it will pass away, and I will make everything new. Isaiah 65 verse 17 says, "Look, I am creating new heavens and a new earth, and no one will even think about the old ones anymore." You won't even remember the pain of this life because the joy of heaven will be so overwhelming. You may wonder what you will do in heaven. Will it be boring? Will there be things to enjoy? Let me tell you, heaven will be filled with purpose, joy, and activity. You were created to be in relationship with me, and in heaven you will live out that purpose perfectly. In Revelation 22 verse 3, I tell you that no longer will there be a curse upon anything. For the throne of God and of the Lamb will be there, and His servants will worship Him. You will serve me, but it won't feel like work. It will be the fulfillment of everything you were made for. Every moment will be filled with worship, not just in singing, but in everything you do. And it will bring you joy like you've never known before. You can't imagine how wonderful it will be, because nothing on earth compares to what I have planned for you. 1 Corinthians 2 verse 9 says, "No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love Him." Every good thing you've ever experienced on earth, whether it was a moment of peace, the beauty of a sunset, the warmth of love, was just a tiny glimpse of the joy that awaits you in heaven. You will spend eternity with me, where there is no more pain or sadness, only endless joy in my presence. In Psalm 16 verse 11, I promised, "You will show me the way of life, granting me the joy of your presence and the pleasures of living with you forever." Now, you might be wondering how you can be sure you'll make it to heaven. After all, it's a place of perfection, and I know you're aware of your own shortcomings. But let me remind you of this. Heaven is not something you can earn. It is my gift to you. The way to heaven is through my Son, Jesus. He is the one who has made it possible for you to enter into eternal life with me. In John 14 verse 6, Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me." There is no other way. No amount of good deeds, no amount of striving can open the doors of heaven for you. Only Jesus can do that. But here's the good news. I have made it simple for you. You don't have to work for it. You just have to believe. Romans 10 verse 9 says, "If you openly declare that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised Him from the dead, you will be saved." That's it. Your place in heaven is guaranteed when you place your faith in my Son. You don't have to live in fear of whether you've done enough. Jesus has already done it all for you on the cross. When you get to heaven, everything will become clear. Right now, you live in a world that is often confusing and full of mystery. You don't always understand why things happen the way they do. But in heaven, all those questions will be answered. In 1 Corinthians 13, verse 12, I tell you, now we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror, but then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is partial and incomplete, but then I will know everything completely, just as God now knows me completely. In this life, you only see part of the picture, but in heaven you will see everything from my perspective. You will know me as I have always known you, fully, perfectly, and completely. And yes, you will recognize your loved ones who have gone before you. You will see them again, and your relationships with them will be perfect, free from the misunderstandings and hurts that sometimes marked your relationships on earth. But you might wonder about marriage. Will you be married in heaven? Matthew 22, verse 30 tells you that in heaven, when the dead rise, they will neither marry nor be given in marriage. In this respect, they will be like the angels in heaven. Marriage was given for this earthly life to be a picture of my relationship with the church. But in heaven, your relationship with everyone will be on a completely different level. There will be no need for marriage as you know it, because you will be in perfect unity with all who are there. And your relationship with me will be more intimate than anything you've experienced. Let's talk about your body in heaven. I know you've experienced sickness, pain, and weakness in your earthly body. But I want you to know that in heaven, all of that will be gone. You will have a new glorified body, free from sickness, pain, and death. In 1 Corinthians 15, verse 42 to 44, I tell you, our earthly bodies are planted in the ground when we die, but they will be raised to live forever. Our bodies are buried in brokenness, but they will be raised in glory. They are buried in weakness, but they will be raised in strength. They are buried as natural human bodies, but they will be raised as spiritual bodies. Your new body will be perfect, strong, radiant, and glorious. No more sickness, no more aging, no more pain. Philippians 3, verse 21 tells you, He will take our weak mortal bodies and change them into glorious bodies like His own, using the same power with which He will bring everything under His control. Your body will be transformed to be like Jesus' glorified body after His resurrection, eternal, incorruptible, and filled with life. What will the experience of heaven be like? It's hard to describe with earthly words, but let me try. Imagine the greatest peace you've ever felt, the deepest joy you've ever known, and the most profound love you've ever experienced. Heaven is all of that multiplied beyond what you can understand. In heaven, you will be with me face to face. In Revelation 21, verse 3, I say, look, God's home is now among His people. He will live with them, and they will be His people. God Himself will be with them. There will be no more separation between us. You will be in my presence forever, experiencing my love in ways you can't even imagine right now. And it won't just be you and me in heaven. Heaven will be filled with my children, the saints who have gone before you, and the angels who worship me constantly. Hebrews 12, verses 22 and 23 describes it this way. You have come to Mount Zion, to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to countless thousands of angels in a joyful gathering. You have come to the assembly of God's firstborn children, whose names are written in heaven. You have come to God Himself, who is the judge over all things. You have come to the spirits of the righteous ones in heaven, who have now been made perfect. You will be surrounded by countless others who love me, and together you will experience the fullness of joy in my presence. Who can go to heaven? It's simple, anyone who believes in my Son, Jesus. John 3 verse 16 says, "For this is how God loved the world. He gave his one and only Son, so that everyone who believes in him will not perish but have eternal life." I love every single person I've created, and my desire is for everyone to be with me in heaven. But I won't force anyone to come. It's a choice you have to make. The road to heaven isn't always easy, it's a narrow path. Matthew 7 verse 13 and 14 tells you, "You can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide for the many who choose that way. But the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few ever find it." Following me isn't always easy, but it is worth it. And for those who wonder about their loved ones who have already passed on, I want to give you comfort. Those who trusted in me are already in my presence, experiencing the joy of heaven. 2 Corinthians 5 verse 8 says, "We are fully confident, and we would rather be away from these earthly bodies, for then we will be at home with the Lord." Your loved ones who knew me are safe, and you will see them again. I am waiting for you, my beloved. I have prepared a place for you, just as I promised in John 14 verse 2 and 3. There is more than enough room in my Father's home. If this were not so, would I have told you that I am going to prepare a place for you? When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am. I've made a home for you in heaven, and I'm waiting for the day when I can welcome you home. Until then, I want you to live with the confidence that your future with me is secure. Remember this, my child, no matter what you face in this life, I'm always with you. I will never leave you or abandon you. In Deuteronomy 31 verse 6, I promised, "Be strong and courageous, do not be afraid and do not panic before them, for the Lord your God will personally go ahead of you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you." I am walking with you every step of the way, and when the time comes, I will bring you safely home to be with me forever. I love you, and I can't wait for the day when we are together in heaven. With all my love, God.